It's day 29.
Day 29.
We're pre-recording because you're going to be traveling. Yay!
Yeah, I'm going to New York.
And that's going to be fun. Hopefully, if it all works out, you're going to be recording with me from New York City.
New York City. Get a rope. Yeah, there was like my husband and I were like, we're not going anywhere in December. Like,
Liar.
we're not doing that again. And then the opera, the Metropolitan Opera sent out a thing on Cyber whatever day and was like, hey, tickets are buy one, get one half off.
Wow.
And so we were like, let's go.
So you're going to the opera.
Yeah, well, but like everything, this is going to be a much longer story than you thought. So we sat down and planned, like it was only certain operas. And so we planned for two that were sort of close together. And it was this week. And then we realized, well, wait, we actually went and saw that one last year. So let's not go see it again. It was Aida. It was amazing. But the intermissions were 45 minutes long because the set changes were so dramatic. Like that was mind blowing. It was so amazing. Like it was amazing. Like you just have no idea how deep the stage is until they actually use it. And you're like, holy crap. It's just like,
yeah,
amazing. Anyway. So then we'd already got the hotel. So tonight, we're leaving this afternoon. Tonight, we're going to see Funny Girl.
Oh.
Which is supposed to be fantastic. It's a new revival production of it. And then I'm hanging out with Shayna tomorrow. And then the next day, we're going to the opera. And then we're coming home the day after that.
So we're going to do a little
out of New York City before New Year's. I have done New Year's in New York. I have no need to do that again. But
we are going to get to pre-record a little bit, hopefully with you and Shayna in Times Square. So that will be lots of fun. And so
we're hoping that will work. Yes.
Yeah. We'll see if we can arrange that. Cool. So hooray, day 29.
Yeah. You told me you had a fix to your hair situation.
Yeah. So my person who's moving away, she texted me and said, okay, I did have a cancellation. I can do the purple thing next week.
Oh, good.
So I got to decide what cut I can do that's going to last a while until I decide what else to do after that since she's moving.
Right.
But I think I am going to get a couple little, purpley. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Obviously, there's no bleaching required ahead of time. So I don't know if I should get them both little, on the side right here, or should I do like one in the front? I don't know yet.
I don't know. You have to talk it over with her. Maybe she'll have some little sample ones and you can try and like hold them and see where you want them. I don't know. I don't know how they do this.
So weather depending, which is always the caveat here, because it got canceled twice already because of blizzardy conditions. So yeah, next week.
Nice. That's exciting. We'll be done, but you'll have to post pictures around. So
we will be finished with our December vlog. However, I am working on convincing you to podcast with me like once a month.
Yeah. Well, I'm already convinced. We just need to set like a day to do it. A day to do it. Yeah.
So that will be fun. People can watch for that. The Anne show is not quite over. There'll be more ranting.
There'll be more ranting and more little stories that turn into ginormous stories for no reason whatsoever.
But it's funny. It's funny knitting fodder.
Yeah. Gives people something to do.
Yeah. So
as they contemplate how strange this woman is.
So it's day 29 though. And we do have our interview today with Becky Pritchard from the Silly Sheep Yarn Company.
Yes. In Waz.
Yeah.
Out on the west of Shetland. Yes.
So show me your day 29. Cool. More yarn, it looks like.
More yarn.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we're back to the 100%.
That color.
What's that?
I wasn't expecting that color.
I know. We're back to 100% Cheviot. This one is called red, but you can see it's a very pinky shade. I'm trying to like sort of this up here. That's more the accurate on my screen anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. So all three together I know, you're probably thinking, "What?" Wait till you see the finished item, though.
Interesting.
Gorge.
Wow.
Gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so in my C2C 223 box, so the first 24 days was 26 actually with the contrasting skins at the end. That was all yarn. And then we had the pattern on day 27. And then we had the poster yesterday. And so now we've moved into like the accessories and the little other not yarn, but other things.
Other not yarn. So that's a sheep. So I'm guessing it's a pair of shearers.
Sure, mini
Yeah.
shearers.
Yeah. Little razor ones.
Oh, this is from Birdie Parker Designs. And I think she's in California. Fiber arts inspired jewelry for yarn lovers.
It's pirate and knitting themed.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's a little gauge.
Yeah.
Nice. Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Cool. Very
So
nice.
like a keychain thing, or you can have it on your project bag. It's sparkly. Can you see it's sparkly? Oh, there.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's fun.
Oh, you know what we forgot to mention yesterday? The Yarn Stash ReStash.
Oh, okay. Catch us up with that.
Yeah. So, well, now I have to look. So yesterday we were dealing with our UFOs yesterday. So you were to go to your project bags, which were freshly cleaned out and just had the project in them, and decide, do I really want to finish this?
Mm-hmm.
And if not, pull it out, unravel it, put it back to stash. Or, do you want to do a quick finish? Like if you've started a sweater and you're like, I really don't like how this is turning out. Do you want to turn it into a cushion and just be done with it? Like there's that option. Or do you want to keep working on it and finishing it? That was another option. So that was yesterday. Yesterday was dealing honestly with all our UFOs.
And you said you have like 10.
I have 10 at the moment. But some of them are very short. My goal for January is to try and knock out as many of those as possible.
Okay.
And then I also have a thing that I sort of stopped doing over the year because I think I got distracted with the tours to Shetland and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we had Face the Music Monday every day on my Instagram account, where you pulled something from your UFO pile and just worked on it that day. And that was your craft time for the day, was just dealing with that one thing. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't finish, it just went back on the pile. And if you did, then awesome. One less thing to worry about.
Right. And then you'd work on it the next Monday.
Right. Or work on a different UFO, whatever.
But your UFOs get attention on Mondays.
They get attention on Monday. Mm-hmm. So today what we're doing is, as you cleaned out your project bag, you were supposed to set aside all your notions and everything. Those did not go back in the project bags yet. So today what we're doing is we're sorting through all of those and creating kits. So scissors, darning needle, cable needle, measuring tape, whatever you need to have a complete notions kit. You're making up some notions kits and putting those in the bags, so you have everything you need for those projects.
And if you don't have multiple pairs of scissors, that's okay.
That's okay. If you have one complete notions bag and you're like, I just want one, I don't need one for every project bag, that's fine. Make sure you have one complete bag. Put the rest of the stuff away somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And just make sure that bag's somewhere where you can grab it when you're grabbing your project bag. That's fine too.
Yeah.
But I like having a bag a notions kit for every project bag, which, shockingly enough, I already said I did mine ahead of time because we're going away to New York. Shockingly enough, I was able to make up 10 notions kits and was only missing 2 scissors in order to do that.
Wow.
But you have to understand, I've been doing this a long time, and I inherited a lot of stuff when my mother passed.
Yes.
So I have a lot of like little pouches and a lot of little scissors and whatever. So I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. I have a lot of these things. So anyway, yeah. So my 10 bags now all have 10 complete notions kits in them
That makes
So,
sense.
yeah, so when I grab and go to a knit night or to go knit in the car or whatever, I know I have all the equipment I need
Yeah,
with my project.
that makes sense. I tend to have 2. I have one that lives on my desk for it's like at home knitting, and then I
Right.
have another one that goes in my backpack that goes with me with whatever
Right.
project bag goes in the backpack for in the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, so that's a good way to do it too.
Yeah,
Like if you always like keep one in your purse, keep one at home. That's a good way to do
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. So that then it's always you always have one with you.
Sure.
Yeah, because I hate when you're like, oh, I just need to weave in the ends, and where the heck is my darning needle? Oh, I left them all at home. Like it's the worst.
That
Just
is annoying.
if you have the tool at the time, you can do the thing.
You'll actually do it while you're
You'll
sitting
actually do it.
waiting for whoever's in the grocery store
Right.
or the pharmacy or whatever.
Or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's today's task. So for some of you with 10 projects and a ton of things to make into project bags, this might take you a little longer than someone who just wants to have 1 or 2 notions bags and deal with it a certain
Right.
way. But yeah. So again, baby steps.
Steps.
So by the end of the day, our project bags will have just a project with the tools in a bag that works, and all of our work in progress projects will have been taken care of.
Speaking of, I have made the corner.
Yay!
So we're going back the other way.
I like the colors in the fade now. Like it's more pinky and orangey. I like that.
It is. It is. This one's next.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So doing that. But I'm also
Excellent.
watching for the sweater that I haven't started yet. And yeah, there's just things. But yeah, I have a lot of whips too, so I need to deal with that.
Yeah.
They're in bags on the floor. Okay.
You can do it. You can do it.
So day 29, we have our interview coming up, so we'll cut over to that, and then we will see you in New York.
Yeah. Bye, Jenna. Bye.
Bye. Have a good trip.
Thanks. So we're here with Becky Pritchard, who lives on the west side of Shetland with her mixed flock of sheep. She's been having their wool processed as both single breed yarns and blends, and she offers it in natural shades and beautifully hand-dyed yarns as well, and recently added tweed to her shop made with the yarn of her animals. So Becky, thank you so much for meeting with us today.
Hi, it's lovely to see you both.
It's very good to see you. It's been a while. It's been over a month since I was there. I was just thinking.
I know. I was trying to think how long it was. Yeah.
Yeah. A few more months.
Lovely to meet you. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we've not met in person.
Yeah, I'm working on getting Jana to come
One
visit.
One day.
One day.
When my life is a little more conducive to that kind of travel.
Yeah.
Yes. So
yeah, but we'll get her there, Becky. You guys would have a lot to talk about because Jana has animals too. She's on a little farm in Wyoming.
Oh, okay. Yes, lots of sheep talk and comparing sheep.
Yep.
Sheep and goats and cattle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chickens.
definitely.
Chickens and a duck. One duck.
Yes, we've got plenty of chickens and a few ducks. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Lovely.
Awesome. So we're here to talk to you today because you have your yarn in the Shetland Hogmanay yarn box. And so people have opened at least one by the time we're talking. We're not quite sure what day this is going to air yet, but they have a good surprise ahead of them for all the days. But I wanted to ask you first, what prompted you to start having your fleeces processed into yarn?
I needed a reason to keep my sheep. We started off with a house that had a croft with it, but we didn't have the croft. It had never been out of the family, and they sold the house to us, but kept the croft. And then a few months later, unfortunately, the one sister passed away, and they offered us the little croft. And we used to live in the Outer Hebrides, and it was quite common then to have for orphan lambs to be advertised on the local radio. With a lot of crofters don't have full-time jobs as well, and they don't have time for bottle lambs. And so we got 6 orphan lambs from the local radio to start populating our little croft. and I fell in love with them and I couldn't give them up. And
but they do need to pay for themselves. You know, you have to find a purpose, as you mentioned, so they pay for themselves.
Yeah. And so wool sort of happened, really, a little bit by accident, but it was just as US Wool were setting up their mill and they're doing their training and things, and they were looking for people to give them different sorts of fleeces to try to train with.
Oh, nice.
So it all sort of fell into place quite nicely. So, and that was it then. I was hooked.
And you also hand dye your own yarns.
Yeah.
Where do you draw inspiration for new colors?
A bit of everything, really. I think a lot, certainly since we've been here, a lot of it is seeing what people are doing with Fair Isle and thinking, well, I need a really good range of colours because people like to mix and match so much with Fair Isle. And so I try to have a really good mix and lots of different, from pastel right through to really deep shades. Mm-hmm. But then also things like we've got a lot of stone walls with lichen and things on them, and it's just the softer colours are really popular as well, especially people that maybe aren't doing Fair Isle but are just doing something something more sort of slightly plainer, and they want a really nice colour. So I try and have a little bit of everything, and I've started playing with sort of variegated colours and things as well. Just started to play, so all sorts of things going on.
Nice.
Excellent. Tell us about your new tweeds. I was very lucky to get to see them when I was up there, and they're gorgeous, honestly. Yeah,
it's fab. I'm so pleased with it. A huge leap really into tweed. When we lived in the Western Isles, I used to sew with Harris tweed, so I knew what I wanted really, and I knew as we were moving across to Shetland wool for my knitting yarns, I knew I wanted to do something with the last of our Hebridean sheep fleeces and things like that. So that's what has become my tweed. And I worked with Sky Weavers in the Isle of Skye, who were great, and we planned everything. Everything was done on Zoom through lockdowns, and I sent away a huge number of dirty raw fleeces, and the next time I saw them, they came back as finished bolts of beautiful tweed, which is very, very scary. Because, even though you know what you want, and in my head I knew what I'd described, and we've done computer mock-ups, there's still that little bit of nervousness about opening the packages. And is this actually going to be what's in my head? But I was very relieved, and it's fabulous.
So let me clarify. I'm a little confused because that happens to me quite often. So is this you said bolts coming back? So is this tweed fabric or is this tweed? Like, because in my head I was thinking tweed yarn.
No, it went from me to the spinning mill. Okay. To be spun, and then he was great, and he put it straight on a pallet, and he sent the cones of wool straight to the weaver. And then we worked it all out on Zoom.
Okay, because you mentioned the Isle of Skye weavers, and I thought, wait a sec, I thought this whole time we were talking about yarn that has little tweedy bits.
Oh, no.
Okay, I was thoroughly confused. I'm sorry.
I will show you. Can you see? Actual
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
and there's different types of it too that she got, so it's gorgeous. Yeah,
six different patterns. So, but yes, it was very scary, but it's worked out really well. It's great. So, and I've been dyeing some of it, which is a bit of a backwards way to do things with tweed, but I didn't want to. If I'd wanted it dyed and woven with the colour in it, they'd have had to have split off some of the yarn and had it dyed. And because I do my own dyeing, I didn't really want anybody else doing anything with it. So
sure.
The one is predominantly white, which has worked really well. And I cut off a yard or so at a time and dye it with the same dyes that I use for wool.
Right.
And it works really well.
Interesting.
So, a bit backwards, but it works. Okay. So, and it means it's, splash of colour, or, if I'm doing something natural, it can have coloured buttons or.
And so people can buy yards of fabric as well as yarn from your
as
website.
well as yarn.
Okay.
And ready-made things as well.
Yeah.
Friend who may or may not be involved in the Hogmanay box, and will put me straight. I think
she is. Yeah. People will already have opened a. She did a fabric coaster earlier in the month.
Yes.
For the box. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So she did a lot of my first lot of making up. She's made me handbags and purses and wallets and things. So I went away to the Highland show in the summer, and my tweed came back from the mill 2 days before I started lambing. So there wasn't a lot of time for sewing. So Andrea's only just up the road, so I smiled very, very nicely and offered her lots of money, and she very kindly made up lots of products for me. So
nice.
Those which are fabulous, which Anne has some of.
I do. She did a beautiful cosmetic bag. So the outside is tweed and the inside is like a waterproof floral fabric.
Okay.
And it's brilliant. I love it. Yeah. It would be great for like a small project bag too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So most of us that are watching on the channel, most of my viewers anyway, are hand knitters. And so we all like to watch our favorite Netflix or knitting, while we're knitting, or audiobooks or streaming, television shows. So we wondered if you had any recommendations for your favorites.
Well, TV wise, it tends, my husband works away all the time, but I have one grown-up son at home who doesn't tend to have the same taste in TV as me. So it's very dependent on what he wants to watch and whether he's sitting with me or whether he's in his room. I must admit, I quite like old-fashioned TV. I like the old repeats of, I don't know whether you'll have ever watched things like Only Fools and Horses, or I like the old box sets and things on TV, and things I watch that I've seen them so many times. I probably know the scripts, but they're easy to watch, and you can actually be doing things, and you don't need to watch all the time because you know what's happening next.
That's a good point. I have someone in my group. She's one of the knitters in my group, and she mentions that while she's knitting, she only watches things that she's seen before.
Okay.
So for that reason, so she doesn't get hung up on it, and she can concentrate. She knows what's going on, and it's mildly entertaining, but she concentrates on her work.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Most of it's sort of the old BBC things. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you get the BBC sort of box sets and replays?
We can get it as Amazon Prime has an add-on, have a few different add-ons that we can get. So there's BritBox and Acorn, and I think a third one too that has
BBC America.
Yeah, and BBC America will show some of the older shows too.
Right.
Yeah,
those I like.
I would do the same too. I'll put on old Doctor Who sometimes and just knit Doctor Who.
Yeah, but I like things like Father Brown, which is about a priest in a little village, and Only Fools and Horses. I don't know if you've ever seen Only Fools and Horses.
That's a new one to me.
Okay. Yeah. It's very. It's very English humor, but it's very good. All of those sorts of things I love to watch. Yeah. Nice. Some you can get on audiobooks as well.
Okay.
So there's some suggestions for everybody to look for. Becky, do you have any plans for 2023 that you can share with us?
Very soon I will have new wool coming back. My first 4 different shades of Shetland yarn heading back in this direction fairly soon. So those will be getting dyed over the winter. New yarn colours and basically the same sort of colours that you've seen in my 2-plies. So the white, the murret, the grey, and the black. But whereas at the moment they're a mixture of breeds, those are all Shetland. So there'll be lots of dyeing to come. So and got, interestingly, and it wasn't part of the plan, but there's some is coming back as tops for spinners and things as well.
Okay.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it wasn't part of the plan. I wasn't expecting it, but I was looking at the information from the mill last night and thought, oh, okay. I've got some, not a huge amount, but there's some coming back as soap ready for spinners, so it should be quite good.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and more things with the tweed and all sorts of little bit of everything.
Before we have you go, is there how do people find you? Where do they keep up with what's happening at the Silly Sheep Co?
At the Silly Sheep. Well, mostly now I have a website. This week's project is to get a grip of my website. Because I'm really bad at keeping it on my website. But there will be lots of tweets going on. By the time this airs,
it should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Instagram and Facebook I'm much better at. My Instagram and Facebook are full of sheep pictures, lamb pictures, interspersed with a little bit of wool and tweed, but predominantly sheep. As Anne will know. But a little bit of everything is on Instagram and things. Really, it's so much quicker, isn't it? But by the time this airs, my website will be working properly.
Okay. And we'll put all the links we'll put all the links down below in the video description for your website and your social media and all of that.
No, that would be great. But yes, it'll all be there. So
excellent.
Plenty of sheep pictures on the website as well.
Wonderful.
Becky, it was great to see you.
You too.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Jana.
Thank you.
We'll come to Shetland at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.